Are we ready? Okay. I will call this meeting to order. It was properly posted on September 20th. All three commissioners are present. Commissioner Calvi will lead us in our prayer and pledge.
Thank you. Please join me in prayer. Dear Father in heaven, we ask your blessings upon us here today. We thank you for the blessing of living in a free country. We ask your wisdom upon us as we deliberate on issues important to the county. And we ask your blessings on all those present and all those watching. We ask this in the name of Jesus Christ, your Son, our Lord and Savior. Amen. Please join me in the pledge. Salute the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I'm looking to see who all we have. We have a number of people signed up to speak. Just to be safe, since there's so many, let's just do public comment now ahead of all. Oh, let's see. Danny, you're already there. Go ahead. We'll do the opening of the bids.
All right, thank you. All right, we have three bids to open. The first is CW 22022-1 for grocery products. First is Bimbo Bakeries. Next is US Foods. A second bid for US Foods. All right, the next bid is P22920-3 for American Rescue Plan. All right, the first is Nan McKay and Associates. Nan, Nan, McKay, McKay. Next is Carr, Riggs, and Ingram. The next is Accenture. Next is IEM. Next is UHY Advisors. Bridge Enterprise Solutions. Ernst & Young LLP. ERNST. All right, the next bid opening is for P22920-04 for landscape and mitigation. First is Madison Turf Farms. And Green Shade Trees, Inc. And that concludes the bid openings.
Is there a motion they be tabulated and returned?
I'll move they be tabulated and returned.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, and before we go to you, Chantel, we have people that are asking to speak on this item, so,
If it would be okay with the commissioners for the next items to put it at the heel of the docket,
okay,
that'd be great.
that'd be great. Okay, starting off, we have Spencer and Mayor Frank Calvin here to speak to us. Welcome, Mayor.
Good afternoon. How you doing,
Hi.
Commissioner? Just want to take a quick moment and ask for your consideration in doing a project out in our community. We've got a creek that runs into, it's a tributary to the Oklahoma River, and it's providing a lot of flooding to some of our residents. And so what I'm asking you guys to think about, and as you continue to tabulate your projects upcoming, that you consider our community for some funding to mitigate that funding issue. I mean, that flooding issue. It's becoming quite a big issue with our community, and I'm going to ask you guys to continue to remember to Spencer. Okay, that's my biggest thing, and I do appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor.
Michael Washington.
Yes, yes. Now, which item, is this item I'm speaking on, or just any one?
Pardon?
Which item am I speaking on?
Well, which one do you want to speak on?
I want to speak on this jail. I mean, I'm gonna take my time and I got to go.
Okay, go ahead.
Wonderful, wonderful, illustrious people this afternoon. Well, now, I don't have but a minute, but let's have a little fun while I'm here. There are growing concerns about the deplorable conditions found inside the Oklahoma County Detention Center. I didn't say detention because it's not fit for that. Now then, things inside the jail have gotten so out of hand and out of control that there's a lot of talk about it going around. Oh, let's build a $150 million jail now to quell the disturbances and corruption and mannerisms going on inside that dilapidated, deplorable, inhumane conditions there. We want a quick fix ability going on, but it just ain't going to work. Now then, a lot of advocates like myself, as well as some legislators offhand, and a few other concerned citizens quite different opinion, we do not agree with what's going on here. There's strong talk about, again, building a $150 million jail. I know I don't have much time. Let me quickly run through here, but again, I'm going to have to address that as well. In 1987, voters approved of a temporary 1% sales tax to fund the current construction of the $43 million jail project. Now you want to build a $150 million jail. Now watch this here. There are 1,600 inmates in the current jail for $43 million. Now then, you tell me there's a shortage of manpower to run the $43 million jail. Now, if you add a $153 million jail, that means there's going to be triple times the inmates that's currently in there. And if you're already shortage your staff, where are those staff going to come from to man a 3,800 man facility? This ain't going to work, is it? Now then, you talk about building the construction of the jail. Let me tell you one thing, sir, in closing here right quick. I don't like rushing like this here because I'm long-winded, but I'll take what little time I do have here. You say you're 50 to 60 men short of running the jail in the manner in which you need it run. Triple time that, you're between 150 and 180. Where are you going to get those people from, since everybody are quitting today because the jail is so dilapidated and scary? It's very frightening. Now then, In closing, let's say that we need to correct this. We don't need another jail. I said we don't need another jail. I'm going to preach this morning because I ain't got much time left here. We don't need another jail. But what we need to do is let people up out of there, drop the population down to 600 inmates. Then you'd have more time to therein have a more space to move people around and thereby have a better management on the number of officers, jailers that's working inside the facility.
Sir.
And that it? All right, let me go. Hasta la vista. I'm going to start coming back regular because I don't like that 1 minute. I'll talk to you.
Jess Eddie.
1 minute, man.
We're you just any agenda item?
Anything you choose to speak about?
Well, I'm not exactly familiar, but I understand this will be my only opportunity to speak. I'm not going to get to agenda item number 8 and have the
Well, I'm
opportunity to
letting you
speak.
speak on 8. We're just there's citizens asking to speak on all kinds of items, so before we take action on any item, I'm letting you speak so that you weighed in before we address it.
Okay, I appreciate that. I just want to say, you know, I see there's an appointment, a vacancy, and I think we can all appreciate that the jail is in crisis, and that the jail trust has been hard pressed to resolve that crisis in any meaningful way. Most of what we've seen has been inflamed tensions between the jail trust, the county, and the community over the deaths and depravity in the jail. And so I would ask all of the commissioners, including Mr. Calvi, I implore you to consider an appointment that can be a constructive partner and have constructive input into the jail, and not somebody that will further politicize and inflame this issue, because that time that we are expending in those tensions and contentions is resulting in loss of life. Let's appoint somebody that can be a constructive partner, engage in constructive communications. I appreciate that.
Sean.
As it has been since 2017 when they refused the DOJ entry into the jail.
Sean Cummings.
We only have one time to talk, is that right? Or do we get to talk on different agenda items?
You can talk on any of the agenda items you wish.
Multiple times or one time? Okay. Just to start with, hey, we did a prayer. It was great. We talked about freedom. There are 500 people over at the jail that do not have due process. It's ironic that we were actually talking about that here. American Rescue Plan, before we hire any of these, seems to be international companies, so there's a lot of money to be had. Let's remember to hire local, something that we can audit, because otherwise everything's going to get lost in there. Obviously, you're having a heck of a lot of opposition on doing a new jail, so that is probably not going to happen. One thing I would like to see, though, instead of Shine just doing projects outside of the jail, why don't you do it inside the jail so we can start a program that gets journeyman workers that are over there that exist to teach younger people in the jail how to do jobs, and then they're all actually job ready from day one that they're out of the jail. I think it'd be a great place for Shine to look. And obviously, if you guys don't want to do it, I think Metro Tech should really seriously look at this. People in there 23 hours a day doing nothing's a joke. We're not getting anywhere with it. Okay.
Was there another item you wanted to speak on, Mr. Cummings?
Yeah. I'm sorry, I thought we got to come back up. I apologize.
I'm just for everyone's awareness, I'm gonna have everybody speak on any item they would care to speak about before we take action on it so that you've been heard.
Appreciate that. On the pick to fill the Lieutenant Governor Lamb's absent seat anyway, didn't like he showed up. I just want to make sure that Calvi doesn't get that pick because he got the pick with Joe Allball. Why is he getting 2 picks on the board? He found Joe Allball and brought him in. Why on earth would he get a second pick? This guy's a lunatic, and what he will do is create more chaos. My guest, literally downstairs, heard Carol Hefner tell me we're effing joking that we're going to bring that lunatic in that brought white supremacists into the meeting and started fights. Are you joking me? This lunatic needs to be out of the process. Okay, one more thing I have here. Sorry, give me a second. I wasn't prepared to do all these at once. Can we look at, we're going to have people be talking about the revolving bail fund because I really do think that's a great possibility. But what we really need to talk about is transitional housing. And I would say the same thing with Sean. You know, they are pre-boxed small houses that can be put together with some talent. You can use people that took the not going to jail, I can't remember what the hell it's called, and put them together. But let's pick up some property with some of this money that we can do this in and do small houses and get them off of the street. We also have to have some transitional houses when people get out of jail. We have all of these things, but yet I hear over and over and over that the first night they're out, they don't have shoes because somebody either stole them, flushed them down the toilet, or something else. We don't have any transitional housing for them to go directly to have a bed that night. Instead, they're back in the same neighborhood with the same people they know. We've got to start being proactive. Okay? I think that's all I got today.
Okay, Christopher Johnson.
I want to come back up because I didn't know just how you was doing it.
Well, I gave you multiple minutes, Mr. Washington. Go ahead.
Thank you all so much. I wanted to talk about investing in overall community mental health and productivity. Taking about maybe funding source accessible to uninsured Oklahomans impacted by COVID-19. Maybe even looking into a COVID-19 compensation fund, much like the 9/11 compensation fund that happened shortly after that. People have been devastated by it. They're still not recovering. Businesses as well. Some businesses have had a drop off of 50% of clientele and profits. So look into that. But I want to definitely talk about mental health because mental health is something I really believe in. I've worked in it since 2017. And I trained even with Mr. Frank Calvin as well. And, we have an opportunity where we can provide mental health care services by investing maybe $35 million or more to inpatient and outpatient services. Inpatient, hospital bed, outpatient, they go see somebody. Because according to the DOJ study, in 2006, the only one they ever did was 56 to 60% of people in jails have some kind of mental health disorder. According to the American Psychological Association and National Institute of Mental Health studies in 2019, upwards of 75% have some form of mental health disorder, depression, all the way to narcissistic personality disorder. Incarceration has never been scientifically proven by any objective study group to prevent or stop crime. It's never been shown. So we have an opportunity where we can really do something here. We could even take and renovate old buildings that might have gotten shut down from the Pathway to Greatness program that Oklahoma City Public Schools did. Maybe use those for work placement facilities for wraparound case management services. People need food, or maybe they need some kind of resume training, how to interview for a job. Because if you don't have those skills, you're not going to get a job. You don't show up dressed clean, you're not going to get work. And creating economic opportunities and skills is what helps prevent crime, because the overwhelming majority of crime are crimes of needs. Somebody has diapers to buy, they're willing to do anything to take care of their family. So let's just think about that. We have a unique opportunity to propel ourselves into the 21st century, not stay in medieval times. Thank you.
Linda Bowie. Did I say that right?
You said it right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, my name is Linda Boy. I'm a retired school teacher. I gave the state of Oklahoma a total of 50 years. And I am concerned about the COVID conditions there in the Oklahoma County Detention Center.
You might pull your microphone down just a little bit.
I'm concerned about the COVID conditions there in the Oklahoma County Center there. And also, I witnessed how when they are released, that they don't have the money or anyone to contact, how they are told to get out and to leave. And I have given money to the people that has been released so they could get a cab to leave the place. So they need some type of a program where they can, after they're released, to be able to go, if they have a home, to go to where they need to go. There's no way that they can get there. And I do have a letter here. I'll take just a few more minutes. Is that one Jelly wrote to me, and he said, "You already." In a letter here. He says, "You may already know our time here in this here detention center. It's everything but proper detention. I'm holding." He said, "Who are people that are innocent until proven guilty. I am a hardworking father and fellow tax-paying American citizen who's ashamed of the inhumane and indecent treatment that I am receiving. No words can describe how pathetic and dehumanizing this place is. It is deploring to watch how unsympathetic those masquerading as detention officers, nurses, and case managers, and so forth are conducting themselves. He said that, however, there are more than wow, but there's nightmares of 168 hours in a week. We may, if God allows, get maybe 2 to 4 hours out of our cells in a week. And in those 168 hours a week, we spend at least 96 hours Friday through Monday without taking a shower and confined to a hot, infested, undersized room where we are driven to a point of close to insanity or deep depression. And to top it all off, making matters even more pathetic, so foul and dehumanizing and unsympathetic detention officers let allow our trays to sit there until our food is beyond cold to the point I would rather starve than eat the cold food. I guess my time is up. So I really thank the council for allowing me to read this letter. And they said they are so infested with bed bugs and the roaches, and there's not enough space. They're 3 small cell room, and it's just deplorable for them. And if something just could be done, or some type of a program, something that could allow them to be able to not be so dehumanizing as even before they're proven guilty. Thank you.
Thank you. Sarah Vanna?
Good afternoon, everyone. We have had a lot of discussion amongst our community, and we have itemized a list of our hopes of where this $150 million will be invested in. These solutions, these issues that we have itemized are statistically issues that have created unhealthy conditions across the state of Oklahoma that have been further exacerbated with the COVID pandemic. One of our main hopes is establishing a revolving bail fund under the county government system in the amount of $20 million to work in collaboration with the bail project and team, where those two other entities cannot post bail. Then we come in on the back end and release all nonviolent offenders out of the county jail. The hope is, based on the numbers that we have, we could approximate reducing the jail's population immediately by 300 to 500 individuals. That is hundreds of thousands of dollars in taxpayer money that can be saved week by week, and we could shut down the 2 top floors of the county jail. The detention center officers are overwhelmed. Running a building at that size unnecessarily is costly. Another idea is taking approximately $5 million to purchase land and begin building housing for the houseless community, and we can do that through collaborative community efforts. Purchasing an existing building or a complex to be turned into a domestic violence shelter in the Mid-Del area, so women that are fleeing violence out of Shawnee, Hera, and the outer portions of Oklahoma have a place to go outside of the only facility we have, which is the YWCA. As we all know, we are ranked we have one of the highest rates of domestic violence in the nation. People are dying, and the COVID has drastically impacted domestic violence within homes. We want $20 million for, $35 million to be invested in 6-month treatment plan program, mental health and drug and substance abuse treatment for individuals that were impacted by COVID-19. We know a lot of folks who are working from home and aren't having the social encounters that they used to have, or dealing with depression. Some have lost their employment. So that would be an area. Establish a COVID-19 victim compensation fund in the amount of $5 million to help indigent Oklahomans cover costs of funeral and burials. Establish a one-time funding source in the amount of $25 million to proactively reduce gun violence amongst children and youth in Oklahoma County. This money can go to public school systems as well as local law enforcement agencies to educate our children and youth about gun safety, and also maybe even equipping every indigent Oklahoman that has a gun within their homes and there are children and youth residing in it. If they can't afford locks or gun safes, we need to equip them with them. The rates of violence among our children and youth with guns is out of control. And establish a build from within training program, as my friend Sean pointed to, whether it's the SHINE program or other alternatives. And God bless Oklahoma County. We need a psychiatric facility like the one of Griffin in Cleveland County. So that's where we need to invest that money. Thank you so much for allowing me to speak.
Nanette Cummings. Did I say your name right?
Yes, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. I am here on the fact that I'm a citizen and I'm concerned about the county jail. I also agree with Sean Cummings. You have 1,600 people in there. They're doing nothing. They're spending 24 hours out of mind, devil workshop. Why are we not putting them to use? They're in there. They're waiting for whatever they have going on to be there. They could be cleaning. They could be fixing something. Even those that are unable to do something, we could find something for them to do. I don't think it is fair for us to sit there and treat them and use them in a inhumane facility. Why not put them to doing something? Sweet. If you can't give them a rag because you're scared they're going to do something, and you can't give them liquid and scared they're going to drink, at least let them do something. Collect the bugs, collect the roaches, do something. Sweet. There is something someone can do. I know that if we endorse mental health, someone can analyze and talk to these people instead of putting them there and giving them an idle workshop to think of things that's going on and make it work for them. If they're able to find out how to put something down a toilet stool to get to another cell, they have minds to do something. Let's do something about this. Let's stop what we're doing and come up with plans for them until they can be moved or transferred on. Thank you for letting me speak.
Charles, is it Whitey's? White. Okay, I'm sorry. Apologize.
No problem. I get it all the time. My name is Charles Whiters, and at the age of 14, I was placed in Oklahoma County Jail. And I did 1,172 days in Oklahoma County Jail. Not one day did I receive any type of mental health, education, no school, no programs, no nothing. For 1,172 days, I sat in the cell with nothing to do. And this was in 1994. Still to this day, the Oklahoma County Jail remains the same. They don't really take the initiative to help the people that's in there, especially the kids, and that's maybe why some of the kids have left the facility. Now, my thing is that the Oklahoma County Jail causes more trauma than they do anything. And it's not about punishment, it's not about crime, it's not about none of that. It's all about making money. Therefore, you have several people that already came up here and spoke on what's going on in the county jail and some of the solutions that need to be fixed. The main thing is the mental health. We understand trauma. That place causes trauma. It causes trauma. And then you take a young mind and you place him in there who's already lost from society, and you put more trauma onto them, and then you expect to release them into society and become productive citizens. Now, we just said one nation. Like, is this truly one nation? Or is this one nation against another nation, which no one ever talks about? Well, the nation of the people that's inside that county jail and all the people who has endured it since it's been built is the people that we're destroying. We're destroying families. Like, we're really destroying families. I seen kids in there committing suicide, hanging themselves, cutting their wrists because of that county jail. And we still allow it to operate and maintain as it's been. We had J.D. Sharp. We have the people that we have over it now. Nothing has changed. We've changed leaders. We changed people in position and power to fix the county jail. It has not been fixed. We have adults in there that's committing suicide. We have more deaths in there than we do in prison. our most violent prisons. At 17, I went to death row. I went to death row at 17. We have more killings and people dying in the Oklahoma County Jail than we do in our most violent prisons. How could this be? This is not a prison. It's a jail. It's a detention center. That's all it is. It's people in there waiting to go to trial to be found either guilty or innocent and released. And then half those people over there should be released because of bond. They're not even really violent offenders. They're drug addicts. Most of them is dealing with drug issues. Most of them are dealing with mental health issues. We shut down all the mental health facilities in the state of Oklahoma and Oklahoma County. We shut them down to put them in Oklahoma County Jail. So we need to put some of that money that y'all talking about, that everybody talking about, into these facilities for mental health. Seriously, we going crazy out here. I mean, seriously, we need help, and we're asking the people of Oklahoma and the people that's in position and power to do something because we're losing it. Thank you.
Jackson Pitt.
You could have grabbed it, bro.
Just to be clear, we're not going to get another chance to speak after we hear what you're going to say about the items.
Which items do you want to speak on?
Well, will we get to hear what your debate and discussion is going to be?
Yeah.
And then also speak again?
I guess so, if you feel like
Okay.
you need to.
I think that's
I
just the
didn't
problem
want
that I
anybody
and maybe
to
other
say
people
that
have with the idea that we speak once, we don't get to hear what you're going to actually say. or
Technically,
decide
on
about
the
it.
agenda, it's citizens speak at the end after we've conducted all the business. So I was trying to give everybody a chance to weigh in before we took any action, to give you consideration.
Well, darned if you do, darned if you don't. I'm going to take off my glasses now in the hopes that this is an honest conversation that we're having right now about the ARPA funds, and that it's not a preordained conclusion, that decisions haven't already been made about this. And I've tried to look into what's happening with these funds. And of course, the headline is that counties are going to receive $65 billion to make stronger, more equitable communities. And the question I ask is, does a new, bigger jail make stronger, equitable communities? I don't think it does. Is a new jail going to change the number of people in jail? I don't think it does. Is the new jail going to keep cash bail from holding innocent people in jail? I don't think it does. Is it going to erase court debt that keeps people cycling back into jail? Is a new jail going to halt arrests for technical violations of parole that aren't even crimes? And will it stop DAs from coercing pleas as unconvicted defendants await trial? Many of these things the county has an influence on through county elected officials as well as through county administrators. Now, I'll say that these funds are supposed to go to problems that were created by COVID. That's the definition. If you look in the Federal Register, Volume 86, number 93, there's a set of guidelines for how to spend these funds. And maybe all these ideas that people are giving you could save you hundreds of thousands, maybe even millions of dollars on a consultant, because they'll tell you that it's about building stronger, more equitable communities in the Oklahoma City metro area. The Oklahoma County Detention Center has been the #1 jail in the country for death rate long before COVID. COVID did not create that problem. But I will tell you a problem that COVID did create. After I say that jails around the country cleared out detainees during COVID by reviewing cash bail at the county level, reviewing the amounts that prohibited poor defendants from their constitutional right to be innocent until proven guilty, and by reducing the holds for technical parole violations that aren't even crimes like missing curfew or missing appointments, and by forgiving fines and fees for people who cannot pay the crushing burden of legal financial punishment that takes $60 million a year out of our communities and arrests countless more people that cannot pay their debt on time in court. Jails across the country did this. Oklahoma County Detention Center did not do this, and now you're asking for $148 million from the funds that are supposed to be used for our most vulnerable communities to make stronger, more equitable communities. So I ask you to look into your hearts during this process and try to see whether this is truly sending more people to jail, going to create stronger, more equitable communities. The funds are intended to address immediate needs specifically brought on by the pandemic, And I'll give you one example, like the many examples that people are talking about, the mental health stress that's come from COVID. The slingshot effect that has had a clear impact on housing prices and rent rates in Oklahoma County and across the nation. Bloomberg, the news source, reported in August, it's never been a better time to be a landlord. Almost every apartment in America is full right now. Occupancy is at the highest rate, and the rate of increasing rents is at the highest rate since I started paying rent back in 2000. This is a huge national problem that has hit people locally, and now venture capitalists are buying up housing stock and driving up those prices here in Oklahoma. Finally, through ARPA, we have the funds to lower rent for Oklahomans by building more housing stock, whether it's transitional housing or permanent housing for Oklahoma families, and instead you all want to use it for a jail. We should use this money to reduce rents for families in the Oklahoma City metro, and then you'll have some money to also think about all of these other problems that people are talking about when you reduce the jail population. You shouldn't need consultants to tell you that, whether they're international or otherwise.
Okay. Mr. Eddie?
Commissioner, would you mind if I added a few minutes? I didn't know we could get into this substance beyond a specific agenda item. Thank you, sir.
Are there others that are going to speak? Because I have no more slips.
I'm sorry, I thought we were talking about the ARPA agenda.
Well, we are, and we're going to get on to agenda, but just in balance and fairness, Mr. Eddie, go ahead.
Thank you. It's my understanding that the recommendations that Ms. Banna put forth are in the ballpark of feasibility and should be candidates for discussion on this ARPA money. I want to address this emergent discontent and opposition to the construction of a new jail and draw a firm line from my position as someone who's been in the county jail several times and who is set for a criminal trial and at risk of incarceration for up to 2 years in the county jail next month. I do not think that the community's position is tenable in the sense that we have worked our butt off as a community to address the operational products and practices at the jail to no avail. As Mr. Wires has put forth, it's been the same for forever. We cannot improve that at this time to a point that is satisfactory, such that changing the conditions of that facility and not acknowledging and respecting that that building is not salvageable, that building is a direct contributor to the deaths. As someone who suffered from the bed bugs, from the dirty floors, from the blind spots and the hidden cameras, that's the recommendation. That's the prevailing sentiment of the communities that I'm working for. That's my prevailing sentiment. Now, that doesn't mean that we need to go and construct a bigger, larger jail, but we have a recommendation on the table for a psychiatric facility. We have a recommendation for a psychiatric facility. Should people be incarcerated in psychiatric facilities? Absolutely not. But this talk of ending cash bail being visited upon this booth and the county jail trust is ignorant and shows that we don't know what we're talking about, because the county commission and the jail trust have nothing to do with cash bail. If you want to scream and yell about cash bail, go up to the 5th floor, go to the judicial offices, go to the legislature and address it. Because for the current time being, those people are going to be housing people in that fucking hole. And if we have an opportunity to improve their conditions, even in the slightest, but we want to play politics, then we should be ashamed of ourselves. They are the most vulnerable, not the homeless, not the mentally ill. The people in the jail are the most vulnerable people in this community. So if you want to come and talk about how to address those conditions, then educate yourself. We are not going to win this battle on who is the loudest and who is the most angry. Thank you.
Okay.
Yes, you didn't think y'all you silenced my voice, and you got all this crap going on, man. Now, let me say this. I'm not going to take long because I'm very busy this afternoon. Now then. Y'all hear what I said? Put that for me. Thank you. Now then. Trying to silence me out. I couldn't even finish my damn statement in the beginning, man. For real, man. Out all the time I respected this damn institute, but hell no, it's out the door now. Straight up. Now then, let me tell y'all something what the hell's wrong with this goddamn county jail here. And the people that's running this Oklahoma County Criminal Justice Authority is the real big issue. And that's why y'all appointed them to make sure that the necessity of evil, corrupt, and mannerisms like this go on so that this is the kind of talking conversation we're talking about. This county jail up here and things that people are talking about, the Oklahoma County Criminal Justice Authority that meets once a month here in this same building right here and room, they are the big issue trouble people who's making this thing more ridiculously out of whack and out of hand because they are the ones that want to keep in place this fiery, unconstitutional governmental practice that the wealthy and the rich are getting miles and monies off of by incarcerating people, not letting them go free. When you let a person out, you let $23,000 go on to tell everybody about that part now then. Huh? Not only are you not taking out that, but now if you keep them inside, when you let murders and things go on, then you get more money that's financed from federal government because you want to study a problem. So why would you solve it when you want to study it to get more money? Come on, man. Who are you talking to today? Now then. Now, not only that, we have more than 2,200,000 people incarcerated in the United States prisons. The first place it starts is the county jail system. So wait a minute now. Since we have all this incarceration going on, why would I want to free you and let you out and take money out of my damn pocket then? Oh, man, don't start with this guy here. I'm trying to be nice and let it roll through the punches. Now then, in closing, let me say, get me fired up this afternoon. Now, you know one of the things that can help that county jail out? Let Michael Washington put Oklahoma Coalition Against People Abuse inside that jailhouse. I guarantee you. Watch this one here. I guarantee he's going to empty it out. You want to know why? Because I'll teach people how to file lawsuits against y'all. I'll teach them how to file complaints against our judges, DA, and all them people. That's why they ain't going to try to make sure to let nobody out. The wealthy people who are running this here, y'all just nothing but patsies for them. That's right. The canteen services, the phone service. Come on now. You know they don't want you to kill that institution in there because they lose money. Come on, man. Let's get it together here. The food opportunity thing. Let's play it all together. One last thing. I'll get to Gina and Jane when I get fired up around here. The Oklahoma County Jail, one last time. Todd Lamb, hasta la vista, baby. How come you ain't gone yesterday? That's what I think about all that so-called Oklahoma County Criminal Justice Authority. None but a bunch of lunatics up there trying to deprive human beings of their sanity, their love, peace, and respect, and honor, and dignity. To disregard, like I was telling everybody, y'all knew beforehand, 20 years ago, that we were going to be talking about what we're talking about today with that jail. That's how you plan things. You don't just suddenly come all of a sudden out initial. No. In closing here. Michael, be back.
We've skipped. They've asked these other items to be held to the heel of the docket.
Well, let me just respond to what Mr. Eddy said, since he was obviously responding to what I said. And I will be very quick to say, hopefully we can continue the conversation. I'm going to talk about ARPA, not about cash bail. Hopefully we can continue the conversation over sandwich afterwards. I would definitely appreciate that, so I'm not going to talk about all of that right now. But just to remind people again that both the intent and the specific guidelines, and I'll give you the Federal Register number again, I think it's volume 84, number 96, of the guidelines of the American Rescue Act are to create stronger, more equitable communities. People in jail are vulnerable, and they stay vulnerable. They don't grow less vulnerable in jail. So we need to invest in projects like people have been talking about that are going to help people build stronger, more equitable communities. I will quote from the document, these resources lay the foundation for a strong, equitable economic recovery, not only by providing immediate economic stabilization for households and businesses, but also by addressing the systemic public health and economic challenges that may have contributed to more severe impacts of the pandemic among low-income communities. Okay. These are problems created during COVID, not like the housing crisis.
Take up item 5, please.
Sir, we're moving on from public comment. Sir, we're moving on from public comment.
his mic, just go ahead.
Is Eric here?
Eric, please. Eric, you're recognized.
There we go. Okay, this is the last acquisition in phase 7 and for the project in general at this point. This will be the 81st house that we've acquired. There are 24 residential structures that remain. That's all I have unless you have any questions for me.
So after this purchase, will residents still have the opportunity to participate or no longer?
Well, we haven't submitted any new applications
Okay.
for hazard mitigation, so we'll just have to see how much funds we have after this phase closes and whatever direction you'd like to go.
Okay. If there's no questions, I'll move approval.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Thank you, Eric. Item 6 is an agreement with Oakdale Public Schools for us to help construct a road on their property. Oakdale will be reimbursing us for materials only in the amount not to exceed $160,907.30. And if there are no questions or comments, I will move the item.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Item 7 is an update with our contract with Oklahoma City, where they've voluntarily chosen to increase the amount of time they would like to reimburse us for. So this is a good thing. And a small tweak and update to the graffiti release form that they have approved with their council. So if there are no other questions, is there a motion?
I'll move approval.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
District 3.
I'm going to move to strike this item because I was informed by the district attorney's office that in order to make the appointment, I would have had to have named the person, which is different than what went on in the past. Evidently, a more recent court case, they say, requires that. So I'll move to strike this and we'll bring it back at a later time.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Engineering.
This is contract with CP Integrated, which is your roadway contractor for Triple X. The contract is in the packet. The bonds weren't there, but I've delivered those to the clerk this afternoon. So everything's in place, and I'd recommend that you pass this contract.
You have any questions? I'll move
Well, if we approve this today, will they be able to start immediately?
I'll put the notice to proceed out with probably the next 10 days. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, soon. We're trying to inch this along to make that federal grant. So I'll move the item.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Stacy, and engineering for all you're doing on that. This is a contract lease agreement with M&M Cafe to operate in the snack bar. And I don't know, is there anybody here to speak on it? Chris? Yes.
Yes, as you said, this is M&M Cafe LLC. It is for the annex only, and they're going to have a soft opening October 14th and a hard opening the Monday after. October 14th is Thursday.
Any questions? Well, we'll be excited to have that back open again. Is there a motion?
I'll move to approve.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Commissioner comments, District 1.
No comments today.
District 3.
Oh, we need to
well,
go back to.
All right.
Yeah, I know. We're not through adjourning. I'm on Commissioner comments.
No comment.
Okay, nothing for you. All right, now, going back, Chantel, ready?
Thank you, Commissioners. Item 2 is in relation to the bids that we opened today for mitigation landscape services for Triple X Road Project. The reason why I'm bringing recommendation for award so quickly is because we have to meet our federal timeline, and in order to order these plans, it has to be this week. So we needed to tabulate those bids. We did receive 2 bids. The bids that came in were actually within dollars of our engineer's estimate, so that is very good. We had one bid at $152,417.16, and with Madison Turf Farms and Green Shade Trees, we're at $146,517.87. They had all their forms completed. Both vendors turned in bid bonds for this, so they met the requirements of our bid. And I would recommend award to the low, which is green shade trees for $146,517.87.
You good with that, Stacy? Does it seem reasonable?
Yes.
Okay. Is there any other questions? Is there a motion?
I'll move we approve the recommendation of the purchasing office for the lowest bid.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, any change to the, is that the only one we're awarding? The others we're gonna take up at another meeting?
And a different meeting, yes.
Okay.
That is all for item 2.
Any change for a blanket?
And there is one addition to the blanket, and that is for our CP integrated contract. I'd like to add requisition 122022516 to CP integrated for the amount of $1,770,718.16, which is the amount of the contract.
I will move our blanket purchase orders with the addition of the contract with CPI that Chantel just mentioned.
Yes.
Second.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Is
Thank
there a
you.
motion to approve the claims?
I move we approve our claims.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, any other citizens to speak before the county commission? If not, is there a motion to adjourn?
I move we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Commissioner, please.
That's a good idea.